Madam Clerk, let's go to our special order 2:30 p.m. recognition of commendations, and we will start with District 5 Supervisor Dean Preston.
Thank you, President Peskin, and for my final commendation in office, it gives me great pleasure to recognize and commend the Midtown Park Tenants Association for their long-standing struggle for self-determination and housing justice. Midtown Park Apartments is a 139-unit complex at the corner of Divisadero and Geary, built in the 1960s when it was marketed to residents as homes that they would own. It was part of the city's response after years of redevelopment that displaced so many black families and black-owned businesses from the Fillmore. The promises of ownership for the residents of Midtown never materialized, or at least not yet. On October 18, 2017, I attended a meeting held at Gateway High School where city officials unveiled a plan to demolish the 139-unit apartment complex. It was hard to believe and even harder to accept. So the Midtown residents and their allies organized, and eventually they convinced the city to abandon plans for demolition. After successfully fending off demolition, Midtown residents next took on exorbitant rent increases that the city, through a housing nonprofit, had imposed on long-term residents. Back in 2014, those increases. Tenants had assumed they were protected by rent control for years, but were shocked to get 100%, 200%, and in some cases even upwards of 300% rent increases. In protest, the Tenants Association worked to build a citywide coalition and waged the longest rent strike in San Francisco history. When I came to office, we worked with the Tenants Association to pass legislation that reversed these unfair rent increases. And thank you to the colleagues who were here in 2020 who unanimously voted for that. We also secured funding for a planning study that's now wrapping up with a resident-led plan for repairs and transitioning over time to resident ownership and control of Midtown. Thank you to the work of the Tenants Association and all the residents. Thanks to your hard work, Midtown is on a better path. The Midtown Tenants Association worked tirelessly to advocate for the families at Midtown, many of which are multi-generational families. They organized to stop demolition, as I mentioned, to make demands and build the citywide coalition of allies, to craft the rent ordinance, as I mentioned, with our office, and to chart the future of Midtown. They refused to be bullied or to back down. They demanded housing justice. That takes work, it takes courage, and Midtown and the entire community are better off because of their bravery and years of advocacy. Today's commendation recognizes and honors the Midtown Park Tenants Association, but a tenants association is just a name for a collection of people. And it's important to note some of those people, although I won't do them justice because I will only name a handful. But Bernita Berg, Felicius Wyatt, Pat Smith, Arthur Raquel, Rufus Watkins, Mary Watkins, Stan Tallsalt, Donald Griggs, Phyllis Bowie, Michael Pengilinan, Sergei Sherbakov, Juanita and Menzel Clay, Marshall Johnson, Mary Cuffey, Workana Babu, the Weira family, and so many other Midtown residents, and some who have been displaced over the years, have invested so much time and energy into this incredible community. So it's my pleasure to honor the Midtown Park Tenants Association and welcome up whichever representative of the association would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. We would also like to say how much we appreciate all that you've done for us prior to you even being seated as a supervisor. We appreciate you standing by us through the whole thing. It's not been easy, and we continue, and hopefully we will reach ownership. You know, with your encouragement and with your help, we've come this far. We intend to continue.
Again, thank you, Dean, for all you have done for us and everything that you've been to us. When I think about actually many politicians, legislators, people that I have been in contact with, people that I have sometimes worked with, I can remember what they did for a specific occasion and instance and for a group of people. And basically, very little in my experience. So when I think about what you have done for Midtown, just ongoing, it is really incredible to me that you are such a man of integrity, that you are a person of your word. So many people say what they will do and how they will help, but that never happens. Not once did you say to Midtown that you were going to work on something, that you were going to do something. Not once did you fail us. And for that, I really do want to applaud you. I really, can you help me with this? Because it's so rare in my experience, and I'm assuming in the experience of others as well. So when you say you're going to do something, you do that. When you say you're going to help someone, you do that. And I don't know if you know how much that means to a group of people, and I don't know that you really realize what you have done for Midtown. So, thank you seems too little to say, but that's all I got.
Supervisor Preston, this is just a small token of our appreciation at Midtown Park Apartments. And we would like to have this read. It says, in recognition and deep appreciation to the Honorable District 5 Supervisor, Dean Preston of San Francisco, for his tireless work in securing rent control for the residents of Midtown Park Apartments and his continuous support. December 17th, 2024.
Reciprocal commendations.